Welcome to the Lesson of the Week with yours truly, Sean Thunder Wallace. I'm a performer, composer, and professor of music at The Ohio State University. This weekly program is designed to inspire and inform the serious music student. We're all students here, so join me on the path of discovery as we learn together.
I don't know, I find a lot, especially when I'm running a tune a lot, that get either am playing the same things a lot, or just that's usually what I play, and I personally get bored of it or something, and I don't know, I'm having trouble thinking of different ideas, or maybe I'm just...
Okay, now, are you talking about in relationship to playing it in all keys, or are you just talking about in general?
Okay, in general, right. I don't know. Do you ever find that you get going okay, I'm just kind of playing the same stuff over and over?
Oh, I feel like that all the time.
Yeah, so
I feel like that all the time. That's part of the game.
Okay.
That's part of it. See, what happens is, and I also have the kind of personality that I have a tendency to get bored.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, on top of the regular evolution in progression that you'd expect in a person's playing, I'm also I get bored pretty quick anyway, and so after I've heard myself play something a few times, a couple times, I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I don't really want to hear this anymore. I'm going to do something else. But invariably you'll hear yourself play it a bunch more times. Yeah. And then the more you hear yourself play it, it's like the more fed up you get with hearing that.
Right.
I don't want to hear myself play that same, stuff anymore. And it might be killing stuff. I mean, to anybody else, they might hear it and they're like, oh man,
yeah. That's one of the things I'm thinking about is it's boring to me because I'm in the practice room hearing myself play it all the time. But a lot of people have never heard me play that, and if they hear it, they're probably like, yeah, that's sweet.
Right, exactly. And but the bottom line is you got to play for yourself.
Yeah.
You can't really think about that. You can't really be concerned about if somebody else has heard you play it. You're the one that has to sit there and play the stuff. So you really have to be happy with it. And if you're frustrated and you're bored with your own playing, then it's going to come across in other ways that you don't want it to come across in. So it would be better for the audience to hear something that you've never played before because you're fresh. It's like when it comes out, it's fresh, and it feels fresh to you, and so then it comes across fresh to the audience. And there's a few players in the tradition that you find that seem to, they just seem to have a freshness when they play it all the time. It always sounded like it had an edge, like it had, it was, you could tell that, they're shedded cats, but it was like, it just had like a rawness to it. It was naked, but it was the right stuff. Everything was right about it, but it just had a rawness to it. And one of the guys to me that he played a lot of the same stuff in the vocabulary, and he didn't really make a lot of changes and differ with the vocabulary a whole lot, and he didn't, from a harmonic perspective, or even really from a rhythmic perspective, it's not like he had a lot of progression in his playing, but every time you heard him, it just sounded fresh. It was the freshest stuff. It's, Sonny Stitt. It always sounds fresh, but he has certain things that he prefers, and you hear him play that stuff. You hear him play it a lot. And so he found a way to still be, to have that rawness, and to still, for it to sound like it was fresh material, even if he had played it 1,000 times,
Yeah.
you know. And so I think there's something to learn from that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that's part of his particular personality.
Mm-hmm.
There are some players that they get to a certain point with the development of their material, and that was what they were heading for. And it's not like, you know, they're digressing. You know, they're still progressing as far as maybe their execution of the same material, but it's not like they're adding, you know, a bunch of new harmonic or rhythmic concepts within the thing that they've developed.
Right.
And they're not going to, you know, they're not going to be spending a lot of time studying some young cat and what they're doing and trying to get that into their playing, because
Right.
that's just not what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Sonny Stitt was one of them cats. I mean, he got to the point where he had perfected something, and that's what he did for the remainder of his life. That's what that was. Now, a guy like John Coltrane was not. I mean, he was constantly reinventing himself.
Yeah.
Miles was constantly reinventing himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and as far as personality, I find myself more like a Train or a Miles, where I feel like I'm reinventing myself and incorporating different things.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also find myself attached to, like Sonny Stitt, I find myself attached to a lot of the material from Sonny Stitt in a lot of that bebop material. And because I teach, I have to be attached to that.
Mm-hmm.
I can never get to the point where, okay, this is not really something I'm dealing with anymore.
Yeah.
I'm all for here.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, for the same reason that we didn't start out talking about Ornette Coleman or,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Albert Eiler.
yeah. The reason we didn't start talking about these kind of cats was because that's not a good starting place,
Yeah.
you know, and that's not something you don't teach that.
Yeah.
You know, that's not something you teach. That's something that if you have a student that gravitates towards that, you allow it, but you teach the foundational, you know, stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the foundational stuff allows you to go whatever direction you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't, you know, now bite your reed and squeak, you know, shake your horn, you know, that's not the kind of stuff that you that you teach. So, but that whole being bored with what you play or tired of what you play, it can be a good thing because it can always cause you to continue to progress. You'll keep progressing. You'll keep progressing because I don't want to hear myself play that anymore. I don't want to hear myself play that anymore. Okay, I need to play something else. What else can I play? I want to play something different, you know. It'll cause you to continue to progress.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of a built-in thing that you have that's kind of a gauge that says, okay, you know, we need to move on to something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you see that? Did you see that? It's like a Nicorette commercial, and it's got that suckometer.
No, I don't think so.
Suckometer,
Okay.
and it's one is sucks more and sucks less.
Uh-huh.
You know, in the red it sucks more, and they take one of those Nicorette things, and then it goes to sucks less. You know, it's kind of like we have like a we have a similar kind of gauge, and the more we continue to play the same thing, the more it gets in the red.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
And then when we start playing something new, we start discovering a different concept. It's like it's in the green. It's like, oh yeah, you know, this is cool.
Uh-huh.
So that's a normal thing.
Uh-huh.